Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This Shabbat is a particular Shabbat set in our calendar between the holidays of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, known as Shabbat Shuvah. And this particular Shabbat, I think, has a really beautiful name to it. I know that I love the name Teshuvah. I think it's a beautiful image, right? This idea of returning to our deepest selves. In fact, the rabbis point out that we are always in the process of rediscovering and reconnecting to our deepest self. But this is the time of the year that we set aside for that moment. Some people have said that perhaps more than any other holiday, the holiday of Shabbat is, well, perhaps the holiest. In fact, the rabbis, they said, well, rather than doing something once a year, it must be more important because we say that we do it every week. We have Shabbat every single week. They set this Shabbat as a special moment in the process of Teshuvah, the 10 days of returning that happen throughout the time between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and I think there's a real wisdom to it. Much in the same way that we talk about Rosh Hashanah as being this time of return, as Yom Kippur as being this time of return, we give ourselves lots of opportunities. And so this particular Shabbat is the one that happens to fall during this time when we are going through the process of trying to reconnect, the process of trying to rediscover that best self. But I would like to suggest that even though we don't have the same liturgy this week as we have other weeks, that perhaps every week is Shabbat Shuvah. That every single Shabbat that we have throughout the year is a process of returning to that best self, but this is the week that we pay special notice to it. So often, the project of religious life is simply noticing what is beautiful and offering gratitude for it. And so, as we continue to turn this Shabbat, making our way from that beginning of the year, Rosh Hashanah, to that ultimate day of return, Yom Kippur, I invite us to reflect a little bit, take a breath, and maybe take a little bit of pressure off as well. This is Shabbat Shuvah. These are the 10 days of repentance, but it's also just Shabbat. Wishing all of us a really good and restful Shabbat this week. To help make this day into the day that we know that it is, I want to invite us to do a little bit of schmoozing, to turn to each other as we begin this evening, and to find someone that you haven't said Shabbat Shalom to yet this particular Shabbat. Say Shabbat Shalom to one another. Welcome one another. It's okay. Go ahead and stand up. Find someone that you haven't said Shabbat Shalom to yet. Let's welcome one another. Well, I want to offer us the opportunity to continue to have this evening with one another in a Shabbat Shalom. I also want to mention to those of us who are joining online, if you're joining us on Facebook or on YouTube, I invite you to go to the chat, say a special Shabbat Shalom to one another as we begin this evening together. Also, I want to mention that at tilb.org, you'll find a link at the top of the website for the live stream. You'll find a higher quality stream there, as well as when we get to the end of our service, we'll be able to offer the names of those that you are thinking of in the chat for our prayer of remembrance, as well as our prayer of healing. Well, we continue this evening knowing that the project of Shabbat is also a project of singing. I think sometimes we think about all of this kind of pomp and circumstance to the service, all of this history that really truly lifts up this evening, and ultimately, it's a song session. It's an opportunity to come together, sing some of our favorite songs, and just enjoy. Let's turn to page 16. Wow. Turn to page 12. Sorry. Thank you. For Lechuna Radana, let's sing together. Thank you.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie. Yai, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Join me. Yai, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie. Yai, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lechu niranin al Adonai, naria litzur yishenu, nekadma fanav betoda, bismirod naria lo. Bismirod naria lo. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie. Yai, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, la, lie, 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 lie.
Well, we didn't actually originate with the name the people of the book. That name actually came much later in our history and was offered to us by another group. Since we also read some of the same Bible that the Muslim community at the time read, we were known as the people of the book. But long after that era continued forward, and that same categorization didn't apply anymore in a legal sense, we held on to that title because it fits us so well. We are a people of the book, a people of the word, and we love the way that words weave into one another. One of the many ways that one generation blesses the next is by offering inspiration through these words. And so we have a special poem this evening that we drew from those who came before us, written simply out of the inspiration of Shabbat, Lecha Dodi, on page 20.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet ve'litila Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva orei kumi uri shidaberi kivod Adonai alaych nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise and face the door. Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon malachei hashalom.
Please be seated. Well, this Shabbat, as we look to add some light into our evening, I want to ask if anybody has a particular light from this past week. Something good, something that you can share with all of us so that we can let that light come together. I know it's not the right time, but like a Havdalah candle, knowing that as flames join with one another, the light becomes even brighter. Is there something in this past week to celebrate together? Yeah, please, Mark. He read from Torah
Yasher
right
Koach.
here, Yasher Koach, and didn't make any mistakes. Yasher Koach, Yasher Koach. Yeah, Ruth.
I have to share that I went through some difficult moments, but it all came out okay. Our good friend Deborah Barnes has been in for this last week in Bradenton, Florida. Right in the path of, I was worried, but she's okay. She spent the whole time holed up in this house that was in Bradenton, made of concrete blocks with hurricane shutters. They had a generator. Everybody's okay. So I had this moment of great relief and gratitude that my friend is all right.
Amen.
Being like, too much,
Too much what?
too much surus.
Oh, it's too much surus. Yeah, too much of that worry about her. So for Cantor Bard, if you can hear us, we're very, very glad that you're okay. Yeah, Don.
Yeah, my
that is tremendous, that he had an event and that he was able to overcome it. Mazel tov. Congratulations. Yeah. Yeah, Jeff.
My father passed, but he's now in a better place and not suffering, and we can still celebrate his life.
Amen, amen. In a moment where you've lost your dad, it's a moment also where you are happy that he's in a more comfortable place, he's in a better place, and you can still celebrate that life that has meant so much to you. Yeah.
I gave my grandson his grandfather's watch for his bar mitzvah, but his parents said, don't let him keep it, hold on to it, because it'll get lost, it'll get broken, you know, 13. But he came up to me this weekend and said, could you bring me grandpa's watch so I can wear it on Milton Pool? I will get it back.
Your grandson wants to wear his. I'm just repeating for anyone who's online so they can hear that your grandson wanted to wear his grandfather's watch that you gave him, but you were holding on to specifically so he could wear it on Yom Kippur. A moment of feeling history, feeling generations. That's beautiful. Yeah, Patricia.
I finally stopped being afraid, and I'm going forward.
Finally, stop being afraid and going forward. Amen, amen. Speaking of light, amen. Well, let's take this light, reach out and place it right there on our candles. I invite us to, if you would like, join us for the blessing together. Before I offer this, before I light the candles and we offer the blessing together, I want to invite us to offer words that are traditional when we hear good news and we share good news together. The words are very similar to a lot of blessings that we offer together. The words are the beginning is very similar to a lot of blessings. The end of the blessing is hatov v'hametiv. I invite us to say these words together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hatov v'hametiv. Amen, amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehad ligner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. I'll mention it. When I'm with the kids for Tot, I always think there's a tradition in some families to light the candles and then immediately give one another a hug. The moment of Shabbat, no matter when the sun sets, begins in that exact moment when you open your eyes after you've lit the candles. And I feel like one of the most important parts of Shabbat, maybe the most important, is to see with open eyes the people that we share this day with. And so if I could run around and give each of you a hug right now, I would. This is me saying Shabbat Shalom in those ways. Let's join together for the words of Baruch Hu on page 28 of our prayer books. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevoch
Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, u'bitvuna meshane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'mesader et hakochavim, b'mishmeroteim b'rakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, u'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, u'ma'avdil ben yom u'vein layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch alenu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv, aravim. Page 32.
Sorry. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, beshoch beinu, uvkumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, venismach bedivrei Toratecha, uvumitzvotecha leolam va'ed. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, beshoch beinu, uvkumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, venismach bedivrei Toratecha, uvumitzvotecha leolam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. 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 Baruch Shem kevod malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We know the power of music in our community. We know that we often want to come together simply to sing, and we know that melodies can bring us into a special place that wasn't there before simply because we have called it here by singing. This evening, we've woven melodies from the High Holy Days into our regular Shabbat service, reminding us that we are in a sacred time, not just this Shabbat, but the 10 days between these two major holidays. A reminder not only that we can return to our best selves, but that we sit in company with many who have come before us and many who will come after us as well. We sing together on page 40.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נעדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We continue with "Oh Guide My Steps." You can find the words on page 373 of our prayer books.
Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Oh, guide my steps. Oh, guide my steps.
Well, there's so many different mitzvot to do. Some people have said that there are endless mitzvot. Others notably have counted, we all probably know the number, right? 613, right? Any number of different ways, although this is not the story that I'm telling now, but one of my favorite stories about that is that you have two scholars in different places counting the mitzvot in the Torah because, for whatever reason, they noticed that none of the scholars before them had written out exactly the list of which mitzvot. So, two different scholars, unbeknownst to one another, are counting at the very same time, and the story goes, apocryphal of it as it may be, that they both happen to count exactly 613 commandments. Exactly 613. That means that must be the number, right? But of course, they count different commandments for those 613. But on both lists is the commandment to hold above all else in our hearts the project of joy, of celebration. In fact, there was a rabbi just a few hundred years ago, which is a short time in Jewish history, right? That said, let's take all of the different things in Judaism and not worry about it. Let's instead focus on one commandment and try to do it really well. And let's let that commandment be celebration and joy. And actually, that rabbi, the Baal Shem Tov, had a descendant, I believe it's his great-grandchild, who was known as Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav. And today, you can find the followers of Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav in Israel. I kid you not, you can drive down the street, and when you get to a red light, the followers, they're so into the project of joy and celebration that when you stop for that red light, if you happen to be behind a Nachman van, has anybody had this experience? Okay, all right, so I'm telling you, all right. So you stop behind a Nachman van, the doors open up, and all of a sudden, at a red light, mind you, music starts playing, they all jump out of the car, they start dancing until the light turns green, they all jump back in the car, and they keep going. So we've got celebration, and we've got joy in our mitzvot, in our faith. So for this next prayer, I want to invite us to call on that. We don't have to jump out at a red light, but what I do want to invite us to do is anytime the word et comes up in this next prayer, Vishamru, page 44, I want to invite us to lift up a little bit. That might mean lifting up our arms. Cantor and I have a half one for one of them, right? I kind of. That was yours. I thought it was such an awesome idea. Yeah. And for the first et, I want to invite us to lift our arms all the way. If you want, you can even stand up a little bit. Some of us have different customs, different minhags in our circle. Anyway, I invite us to delve into the joy, the celebration of this next prayer, Vishamru, page 44. A little bit of celebration.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Well, I mentioned that this particular Shabbat is Shabbat Shuvah. We have actually all kinds of insertions placed in our prayer book, extra words for this particular week. Another reminder that perhaps there are things in our world, things all around us that are there, ready for us to enjoy if only we are able to open our eyes to them. I invite us to join together on page 46. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Lai, 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 Adonai, Spatai Tiftach, Ufirgi tehilatecha, Adonai, Svatai tiftach, Ufirgi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei hakol, Vezocher chaste avot ve'imahot, Umevi geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an shemo be'ahava. Zochreinu lechaim, Melech hafetz b'chaim, V'chotvenu Besefer Chaim, L'mancha Elohim Chaim, V'chotvenu Besefer Chaim, L'mancha Elohim Chaim, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Umoshia Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav lechoshia, Morid hatal. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך אל הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל, אמן. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Days pass, and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. And so we ask God, fill our eyes with seeing, fill our minds with knowing, and let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see that wherever we gaze, the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. We continue silently, either using the words on the pages to follow or other words we might find in our hearts. We'll join together again on page 62. Well, our thoughts now turn to those in our community who are in need of healing. And that is a healing of the body or a healing of the mind, healing of the spirit or the soul. So if you're joining us online, I'd like to invite you to share the names of those that you are thinking of in the chat at this time. And together, we are deliberate in placing the names of those that we are thinking of in our handouts this evening so that we might bring them home, review the list of names, and if there's someone that you know, someone that you might reach out to extend this prayer of healing to a phone call, maybe a text, something that lets that person know that you are thinking of them, because we know that healing takes many forms. Perhaps the most powerful is the healing that comes from knowing that friends and family are thinking of you. And so, I want to invite us to all hold in our hearts those who have recently come onto our Misha Berach list: Amalia, Linda Fox, Judith Hardiger, Janet Schultz, Amy Cohen, Jamie McDaniel Enderby, Lisa Morton, Gladys Rubin, Thomas Silverston, and Marian Sinta. If you're here in our sanctuary and are thinking of someone in particular this Shabbat, I'd like to invite you to share their name as my hand passes across the room.
William Pike.
All the people in Florida that have been dealing with the hurricane and its aftermath.
Amen. Amen. I'd like to invite all of us to join together with the words of healing that can be found on page 253 of our prayer books, page 253. We continue with the words of Aleinu on the bottom of page 282. I'd like to invite us to please rise in body or in spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Well, our thoughts now turn to those in our community who have died in recent days or in this season in years past. We know that there is strength in being together. In fact, we have a tradition when someone has lost someone near to them not to really share any particular words because they seem to fall short. So we have a prayer, but the goal and the role of the prayer is not the words themselves. In fact, the Kaddish has nothing about death in it. Rather, it's a prayer that requires us to be with one another. And so this evening, I invite us to find comfort in one another's company. Together, our hearts go out to those who are in a period of Shiva and Shloshim, observing the 7 and 30 days after the death of someone near to them. And so our hearts go out to those near to Doug Fagan as we think of Betsy Fagan and Adam. And as we remember Leonard Kiles, our hearts go out to Steve Kiles and Pam and Linda, Joshua and Benjamin and Lily. And as we remember Nell Moskowitz, our hearts go out to Rabbi Steve Moskowitz and Anna Moskowitz. And as we remember Shirley Locke, our hearts go out to Margaret Locke and Bill Geiser, Kevin and Emma, Sheila and Amitai, Evan and Connor. And as we remember Nancy Lee, our hearts go out to Ray Edelman, Brian and Alon Edelman. And as we remember Kenneth Rosenfeld, our hearts go out to Dan Rosenfeld and Karen, Molly and Samantha. As we remember Harry Zubel, our hearts go out to Carrie Zubel and Jonathan Weiner, Max and Sadie. And as we remember Shirley Sapel, our hearts go out to Joel Sapel and Mona Gable, Jesse and Kate. And as we remember Diane Stotlin-Rupkin, our hearts go out to Heather Raphael. Our hearts also go out to those near to Alan Engerman. So we think of Jeffrey and Laura, Megan and Max. And our hearts go out to those near to Israel, Jonathan Yost, beloved brother of Hannah Finley, brother-in-law of Cantor Marvin Finley. This Shabbat, we additionally mark the yard site, the anniversary of the death of Arthur Albin, Joshua Alpern, Lily Barab, Larry Castillo, Rosalind Dower, Diane Fike, Michael Hyam, Nancy Jonas, Barry Karp, Gwendolyn Kincaid, Miriam Kroll, Sophie Crushen, Violet Layden, Gilbert Lavin, Melvin Lebman, Norman Miller, Seymour Moreno, Harry Oster, Charlotte Rabin, Paula Sachs, Shirley Safier, Ruth Schultz, Lillian Shapiro, Freda Spatz, Flora Ruth Spellens, Sarah Stern, Ruth Stotland, Nathan Tall, Harold Warren, and Wendy Warren. If you're joining us online, I'd like to invite you to share the names of those that you were thinking of this Shabbat in the chat at this time. And for those of us who are here with us in our sanctuary, I invite you to share their names as my hand passes across our sanctuary. Jean Smith. I'd now like to invite all of us to turn to page 294 and to rise together in love and in solidarity as we offer these words of Mourner's Kaddish. Itgadal, v'itgadash Shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei maya, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei d'kudisha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushvachata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. V'aseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha. May the memories of those near to us always and forever be a source of blessing. I invite us together to say, Amen. Well, please be seated. We have a number of things going on this week. I think we have a holiday next week as well. I'd like to call up a member of our board of directors, Lori Arroyo, to share some of the goings on.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. So we have, of course, our special event in the middle of the week, and on the bookends, we have some of the regular stuff. On Saturday morning, there's Torah study with Ron Artstein. I thought it was Jay.
Oh, it is Jay. It's with Jay O'Hara.
With Jay Al-Hadif. Yes. Now, okay, so let's just be sure that I'm reading this week's announcements because so many things are the same.
Does it say that Rosh Hashanah is coming up?
I haven't got there yet. No. Okay, moving right along. Our Joys of Jewish Learning program. Oh my. So the office has started doing a really good job of kind of making the announcements more, interesting. You know, kind of more personable. But they got carried away. Oh, no. Too many words. Okay. So let's see. Well, I'll just, this is like texting that kind of fills in for you. Our Joys of Jewish Learning program will really be offering many opportunities. So there will be many opportunities from week to week. Oh, I see. So this is in place of saying that Joys of Jewish Learning will not be having any programming this coming week because we're so busy, which is translated as will really be. On Monday mornings at 9:45, we offer the class New Testament Study from a Jewish Perspective. Our Tanakh study group meets every Thursday at 10:15. If you would like to participate, contact Martine Korak. Other programs or meetings of interest include our Men's Minyan discussion group, which meets every Tuesday at 9:30, and you can contact Alan Lillian if you're interested. This week, we sincerely hope that you plan to join us for Kol Nidre services on Tuesday, October 4th at 7:30 p.m. and the Yom Kippur services on Wednesday, October 5th, beginning at 9 a.m. Bring non-perishable food for our Rick Falk Memorial High Holy Days food drive now through Simchat Torah. If you ever have a question about how to attend one of our classes or programs, look for our emails, or call the temple office. Our staff is very happy to help you. Shabbat Shalom.
That was, is, and will be a wonderful announcement. Thank you very much. Lori. So this Shabbat, we have a particular melody that we want to sing. Can you tell us a tiny bit about?
Yeah, so I was going to teach you the song, and the words were there, but now they're not. So maybe we'll just listen tonight. But this is a version of Pitruli, which we sing during the High Holy Days. It's about asking God to please keep those gates of righteousness open for me so that I can come through and pray to God and give thanks to God. So hopefully, I'm just going to start it, and then we'll get to the Pitruli part, and if you catch on, try and sing with me. Open the gates, don't let them close. Open the gates, the day's not over. Pitruli, Sharet Tzedek, Avova Modeya. Open the gates, my slate is clean. Open the gates, my slate is clean. Open the gates, I ask you humbly. Open the gates, I ask you humbly. Pitruli, Pitruli, Sharet Tzedek, Avova Modeya. Hoshiana, Ana Adonai Hatzlichana. Through all my days I'll pray, I'm worthy of this moment. With head bowed and knees bent, I beg. Open the gates, open the gates. Don't let them close, don't let them close. Open the gates, open the gates. The day's not over, the day's not over. Pitruli, Sharet Tzedek, Avovam Odeya. Isn't that a pretty song?
Yeah.
By Beth Schaefer.
Oh, hey. Well, let's continue to bring in the sweetness of this evening. We have a little bit of Kiddush. I want to invite us, if you are comfortable, to rise and to come. Let's join together in a circle this evening as we offer our blessing for our Kiddush, Motzi. For those of us who are joining online, I invite you to sing along with us. We can hear you in spirit. Let's join together for our Kiddush. Yeah, come.
Baruch
atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon chinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat lechaim.
Good week?
No, it's not Manischewitz. This is the second week in a row.
I should have had that one.
My God, here, it's all yours.
Okay. Yeah, no. Okay.
Hooked on the Manny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, this one's also, I think, a good week, though. All right. Well, let's join together for our blessing over our challah, blessing not just this bread that we share together, but this wonderful holiday and this opportunity to be with one another as a community.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
And Shabbat Shalom, wishing everyone a good and sweet Shabbat, a Shabbat that feels rejuvenating, almost like returning to that best self we know is there. May we all be inscribed for blessing in the book of life in this coming year. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.